Hello, I just want to state before this video starts that there are spoilers in this video for Rundown 6. If you have not played the main missions, you definitely should go do it. It's a lot of fun and has a lot of details and lore that you want to experience for yourself. I also want to thank a few creators in the Discord lore channel for helping me with discovering the lore. The creators that helped me greatly are Mattias, Wabagger Infinite, and the one and only Professor Scalar. These amazing creators help me a lot with their videos on the lore, and so all of their channels will be in the description. Please go check them out. Most of the information from the summary from the first section of the video comes from their videos on lore. This video will be split up into three main sections. The first will be a summary of the rundowns 1 through 5 and the basic lore of the game, while the second will be the lore from rundown 6, A1 to B2, and the third and final part will be my theory for the rest of rundown 6 as well as the future of the game. We start 66 million years ago. We go back to the Chicxulub impact, located in the Yucatan Peninsula in the eastern part of Mexico. It is witness to the biggest cover-up ever, as well as the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. Not only did it leave behind dead dinosaurs, but it also left behind an immense deposit of iridium. This iridium deposit is very useful for industries. One such major company, Dreyfus Industries, comes into play in 2049. Dreyfus Industries is a parent company for some of the biggest names in GTFO lore. One of those names is San Antonian Mining Industry. The other name is Kovac Defense Services. Both those names will come repeatedly during this video. San Antonio Industries is paid by its parent company to build the Gargantuan complex and mine the meteor, while Kovac is paid to protect the complex. All of the miners of San Antonio Industries are made to sign a confidentiality agreement, saying that they won't expose them to the public. Miners begin to get sick, and a virus starts to spread between them, called the NAM-V. As the virus is spreading, many of the miners contract it and get physical changes and problems. A lot of them attempt suicide and have severe depression, while others start to mutate. During the time the NAM-V virus was rampant throughout the complex, a biological lifeform was picked up on biotracker systems, and it threatened to overrun the facility. Someone or something, which is theorized to be the warden, shortly locked the entire complex and all security doors and bulkheads were closed. These prisoners were taken out of hydrostatic chambers by the warden itself. The warden is an unknown entity. It is not known whether it's a computer AI program gone sentient, or just a group of person, or just a singular person. Whatever it is, it starts to send these prisoners on these tasks. These tasks are classified as rundowns. In order to complete the entirety of the task of the rundown, prisoners were made to complete every single tier of the rundown, which is essentially the subtasks of the main task. You probably know who the prisoners are. The prisoners are a group of 4 people comprised of Dowda, Woods, Bishop, and Hackett. Dowda is a determined and cunning but secretive Nigerian. Woods is a thoughtful American who believes in deeper meaning. Bishop is a distrustful, pragmatic English who's interested in getting the job done. And Hackett is an Irish native described as cynical and comical but reliable. The first ever rundown done by the prisoners is Rundown 001. Rundown 001 was essentially to escape and make your way into Rundown 2. To do this, the prisoners were forced to retrieve DNA samples to get clearance to shut off the power and open up the emergency escape way into Rundown 2. In Rundown 2, the prisoners are sent to get P-Mother trial samples. These samples will help the warden essentially make artificial life, and it's also hinting at the prisoners' future. Once the prisoners are done with Rundown 2, they make their way to Rundown 3. In Rundown 3, the prisoners take the samples and begin the imprinting process. The printing process is something the prisoners aren't new to. The prisoners have all been imprinted by the warden. That's why they are able to see the text objectives on their screen as well as their stats and how much supplies they have. These imprints not only help out the prisoners, but help out the warden, because these imprints can track wherever these prisoners go. And so essentially the prisoners can never leave even if they tried. In Rundown 3, before the imprinting process can be done, the power must be turned back on since it was turned down in Rundown 1. Once the power is turned on and the imprinting process is done, they return back to the warden. Once in Rundown 4, essentially the prisoners are just tasked with constructing and getting resources for the warden. Once Rundown 4 ends, we move on to Rundown 5. Rundown 5 is the exact same. Rundown 5 is just constructing items, getting crates, and more stuff for the warden. While in Rundown 5, the prisoners come across a sound recording. This is the sound recording that plays.
This is Schaefer. Brother. Okay. There are many, so many of us, working the orders, sneaking through the maze. Every one of us. Alone. Because that's the way they need it. But I broke free. And though I may be lost in this black pit, I have seen the light. I know the cold truth. I see what they're doing. I know what they fear. They fear the mind of a chained man. They fear the thinking man. They fear the men that work as one. So fuck them, right? Fuck them! You come find me, brother. Go deeper. Below 1,100 meters. That'll put you close. Yes, smart, see? You find a terminal and enter the code. Resist. Secret, okay? You and me, we're gonna help each other.
This is essentially a message telling the prisoners to go below 1,100 feet and try and find a terminal and enter the code resist. Now personally, me and my friends tried to get down to 1,100 meters to enter the code resist, but we never got past, I think it was D tier. So we were never able to actually enter the code. I tried to look it up online. I tried to look around the lore channel. I could not find anyone that was able to find that and enter the code resist. So we are going to move on to part 2, as this audio is going to tie in to part 2. Welcome to part 2 of the video. Part 2, we're going to be talking about Rundown 6, tiers A1 to B2. We start off Rundown 6 with tier A1. In tier A1, the prisoners are tasked with getting the matter wave projector. During the rundown, when you come across a security door, this audio log will play.
Do you remember me? Remember? How would they remember? They can't, they won't. Then maybe I'm the one who's forgotten. Before, I told you to go deeper, remember? The warden can't track you if you go deeper, but I could be wrong. But why are you really here? To kill me? Could be. You know what they are, Schaefer. What they've done. Murderers. They're all the same. Nature is truth. The warden knows. No, you are not the past. You are not what they told you you were. The past means nothing. I escaped, but you're still a prisoner. I escaped. I broke my program, but you're just a factor in an equation, a number in a calculation. We're here to solve the puzzle, but who knows what the puzzle means? The warden knows. The warden knows the past. We only know now. And next. Now and next. What's next? What do? We wait. Yes. Look for the pattern. solve the puzzle, but for ourselves, not for the warden. We do it our way. We break the cycle. Lots to think about. Are you listening?
Now, this audio log reveals a lot. This audio log is essentially the guy from Rundown 5 that was telling us to go to 1100 meters and type resist into a console. This essentially links Rundown 5 to setting up Rundown 6, which I think is very fair play by 10 Chambers Studio. Later, once we get past the other audio files and I start going over my theories, you're going to hear my theory of who this sixth person could be, essentially. Because this is confirming that there is someone else alive in the facility or the complex. Besides the warden, I don't even know if the warden is alive, or the 4 prisoners. So this is kind of big for lore. Once you have completed all the progression checkpoints, and you move on to the final objective, you go to pick up the matter wave projector, and this happens.
We're not even gonna have to go that way, watch.
I just
I
wanted
thought
to see
Devin said
extraction.
wait to
What the?
What?
What the fuck?
the hell?
This isn't extraction!
What the fuck?
Wait, what's the cave?
Where are
What's
we?
in
A
the
fucking
cave?
dream? Oh, we're in a dream.
We just went outside the complex in GTFO. That is the first time this has ever been done. This is huge, essentially, for lore. So now you're probably thinking, what the heck was that? Well, in B1, it essentially explains everything that went on in what just happened. So B1's called hexahedrons. The objective of B1 is to locate the terminal in Alpha 2 and extract the data cube coordinates. Now, as we make our way through B1, we make our way to this room. This is some sort of teleporting device, and once you enter this room, this audio is going to play.
All personnel clear the operations floor. All personnel clear the operations floor.
Settle down, everyone. Right, I need final checks from all systems. Telemetry?
Online.
Wave stabilizers?
Check.
Temporal regulators?
Good to go.
Quantum tethering?
Secured and locked.
Frequency modulators?
Low standard deviation. We are good to go.
Mission team?
Bio Command, this is Security Operative Bishop requesting EF-01 clearance. Clearance has been granted. EF-01 is operational. You may proceed, Dr. Stokes.
Thank you, Sergeant. Chrono, start the mission clock.
Clock is running.
Good luck, everyone.
Translocational jump sequence initiated.
The gate is open. Matter weight capacitors at 40%. Chrono is slowing down, Doctor. Should we?
No! Keep going!
Matter weight capacitors at 80%.
Bishop, keep everyone within the projection radius.
Chrono has stopped. I'm getting no temporal progression.
Quantum tether is holding.
Matter weight capacitors are primed, ready to discharge.
This is it. Go! Comms?
Searching.
Telemetry?
Nothing.
Did we lose their frequency?
I got no signal.
Widen the scope.
It's full.
Damn it! Comms?
Nothing.
God damn it. Power down. All departments. Briefing room, now.
Now, this audio recording is pretty big. It reveals a lot of stuff. One of the first things it reveals is that Dreyfus Industries not only worked on biological tests, but also like trans-dimensional type sort of tests. We also learned that Bishop was a sergeant in Kovac Defensive Services. So that's a big character point that I'm going to go over in my future character video. I'm going to be breaking down every single prisoner. Now, if we go ahead with the progression objective and we put the projector into this thing, it will do this.
I want to secure those. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
I'd have your knife out because you're probably going to see some shit. Oh.
Get in. Oh, why is it coming towards us? I don't like this at all.
I don't
Oh,
like
we are
this.
gonna get teleported.
We're gone.
Yo, can I stick my
Goodbye.
face in it?
No, we're dead. Can I take it back out?
I told you, I called it.
Yo, Justin. Doesn't this look exactly like the start of Dark Souls 3?
This is so cool, dude.
Yes, it does.
Dude,
What just happened is amazing. Like, credit to 10 Chambers. They are really putting together this lore. But what just happened in that lore is we were brought somewhere different. We were brought back to the desert that we once brought to in A1. But we are here now to move around. And it's insane. When you play the audio recording from the terminal, this is what plays.
No, I want separate areas. Sample collection needs to be completely isolated from the rest of the gear. And Alice, mask. This is Dr. Durant. EF-01 has arrived. This place is... it's exhilarating. Let me check my notes. So far, there's no sign of biological life, though Ben did notice some discoloration on the rocks nearby, so he's starting there. I don't know how anything could survive here, though. There's no obvious food sources, and the soil appears to be barren. Ben and Gustavo were taking readings at different elevations to see if there's a habitation zone. The atmosphere is tolerable for short periods, but I wouldn't want to spend more than 5 or 6 hours here without protection. The security operatives are patrolling the perimeter, gathering all the equipment we sent through over the last few months. So, that's the good stuff. Here are the problems. We have no link back to Garganta. Nothing. No comms, no telemetry, and the quantum tether didn't hold as far as I can tell from this end. So, this means either A, we've had a catastrophic system failure on our end, unlikely, or B, something has happened at Garganta, which we have no way of knowing. There is a C, but that would suppose the data sent back from the Hammerstein probe was falsified, which... no, I won't believe that. Whatever the reason, we're alone, for now. We have located the vegetation capsule we sent through 3 days ago, but they didn't survive the jump. The capsules must have popped open during transit. The plants have been exposed and withered away to nothing. Although the soil in the capsule is bone dry. I prepped these plants myself, and when they left my lab, the soil was saturated. And even in this environment, the plants should have survived weeks. But they look like they died months, even years ago. It makes me wonder if there's something in this atmosphere we're not picking up. I have everyone wearing their masks, just to be safe. Anyway, chin up, James. Dr. Stokes will find a way to reach us. I'm sure of that.
This video, it shares a lot. This machine that we just teleported through is a quantum entanglement machine. Now, if you don't know what quantum entanglement is, essentially it means that something that exists in our universe and also exists in another universe at the same time can get entangled, and they can essentially get pulled together at an infinite space. This is how like people theorize wormholes work. That we have a wormhole in our universe, and it brings you through to another universe. That's like that's one of the theories of how wormhole works. So essentially what this machine is doing is that if you saw the projector case that we brought and put into that machine, it's a little crystal. My theory is that crystal are those big black crystals just refined, so that we have this crystal from this other universe and we're bringing it back with us. And so when we want to teleport, we put the crystal down into this machine, and it does some sort of thing that makes quantum entanglement work and bring us back to the same universe that it came from, which I think is just amazing writing by 10 Chambers. They have to have somebody who like is just knowing of quantum entanglement to understand this, because I didn't even understand it till now. So props to them on just doing this. Now, what's really cool, if you listen to the audio, they tell you that there's probes that are looking for habitable land. I'm gonna be going over a theory once we get to part 3 about my theories. It's a pretty big one, including, you know, this and the meteor. But back to this. When you go and you just enter in to get the coordinates, this happens. Credit, because I'm probably gonna I'm going to use some of his videos, obviously, for research of the first, you know what I mean, like the first rundowns.
Like reference.
What?
Yes.
What?
But
What?
I'm also gonna be
What's going on? Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! What did we do? What the fuck is that?
Holy shit!
What the fuck, dude?
I'm so sorry.
What the fuck is this?
I'm so sorry, parents. Jesus.
Maybe that's...
Ow! They hurt.
They look like
we need the coordinates of this data cube.
smaller versions of the tentacle shit from the new trailer.
I just screamed so fucking
Oh, they're
loud.
behind us. They're behind us.
Oh,
Holy.
I'm getting
I don't
out of
like
here.
this.
Fuck
I don't
this
like
shit.
this.
I'm out. Bye.
So what just happened was these things from a different universe started attacking us. And these things might have caused the Nom-X virus that caused the sleepers and stuff like that. They looked just like them except flying. They might have infected us with whatever disease they have. Right after you get out of the teleporter, you get this message. Warning, cannot terminate quantum tether. So we have now opened a portal for these things to come into our universe and just flood in straight into the complex. So essentially we just opened a unclosable rift between two universes that is pretty bad, especially if these creatures can kill us. To finish the level, essentially you have to go and extract, and you have completed everything. The prisoner's task was to get the coordinates from that terminal. But in getting the coordinates from the terminal, we also opened up a inter-universal gateway between us and what is probably the organism that created the Nom-X virus that caused all the sleepers in the first place, which is not very good. So B2 is different from A1 and B1. B2 is a side mission, so it's not going to directly impact the lore too much, but it's also going to give, some hints at some background knowledge. There was a log that was found in a terminal on B2. In this log it reads, "Yesterday, the European Space Agency dropped a bomb on Kovac Defense Services. They are severing ties and pulling all funding from the military contractor giants. They aren't cutting back. There is no measured disentanglement over the next few years. The ESA is out. Now." This is almost certainly due to the papers that InfoLeak revealed last week. The revelation that hydrostasis severely affected the long-term memory is bad for Kovac. The fact that they knew about it before Red Alpha and didn't tell the ESA is worse. Kovac is in the middle of a public relations nightmare, and ESA want nothing to do with it. While there is no evidence yet that the use of hydrostasis had anything to do with the failure of the Red Alpha mission, there are still several questions left to be answered. The investigation into the crash landing on Mars lays the blame on human error, citing security concerns as the reason. A more detailed explanation will not be forthcoming. There is data available for the public to review, but there's no black box recording from onboard Red Alpha in the hours leading up to its uncontrolled descent through the Martian atmosphere. Whatever the crew said or did remains a mystery to anyone outside ESA and will likely remain that way for a foreseeable future. Funding for the ESA remains under tight scrutiny, and it's natural to assume they would suppress any revelations that may damage their reputation. What is known for sure is that the crew successfully woke from a hydrostasis 72 hours before the scheduled Martian descent. There was no indication of any issues with the ship, and automated guided systems had put them exactly where they needed to be. We know that the ship had an internal temperature of 23 degrees Celsius, as expected. We know that the water electrolysis system was working and producing oxygen in precise quantities. We even know the time the interior lighting system was stimulating, 800 UTC to be precise. We know atmospheric filtering showed exactly the right amount of carbon dioxide present in the cabin, suggesting that all 6 of the crewmen were up and moving around the ship within a few hours. What we don't know is why Red Alpha went from mission normal to mission critical by 1400 UTC that same day. First, the ship drifted from its programmed orbit, something that can only happen if the navigation system failed or by human intervention. Next, the communication relay stopped, sending telemetry to Kourou. Again, either by catastrophic failure or by someone pulled the plug. At 11:57 UTC, the primary propulsion engines were ignited. The ship started its final, fatal journey. There, the knowledge of anyone outside the ESA ends, which is why the revelation that hydrostasis causes long-term memory damage may offer some insight into the problems on board Red Alpha on the day of. File ends. Now, from this document, we learn a couple things. That Kovac actually does like space missions, like not like NASA, more like Blue Origin. Elon Musk's space company, SpaceX, they signed a contract with NASA. That's kind of what Kovac did with the European Space Agency, is what I'm getting from this. Alright, we're going to be moving on to part 3, which is our final part of this video. Alright, so to kick things off, we're going to go back to the quantum entanglement. Essentially, my theory in the quantum entanglement was that the place that is in the quantum entanglement is Mars. So, this is going to be my final theory. I didn't really have many. I kind of, during the making of this video, disproved myself a lot, and also got new theories, then disproved them. Like, I got about 6 theories that I proved wrong. But this theory is the next one that, you know, it's not really a theory, it's more of a guess. What I'm thinking is that the meteor hit, and I guess it's from this parallel universe, since we're able to harvest the stuff from the meteor and use it to travel with the quantum entanglement. So my guess is, since meteors coming from planets require like the making of a moon per se, because when planets collide it sends debris everywhere, so that there's going to be debris in meteors, and that's how it got to our universe. You know, went through a wormhole. Let's say it went through, the meteor went through a wormhole, landed on our universe, and we learned how to do the quantum entanglement, and we could teleport back to their universe. But this stuff would have had to come from under the crust of the planet that it's on, because if a meteor is made, like, say for example 2 planets collide, the whole crust is usually like bits and pieces. It's not going to be a big meteor, and also a lot of it's going to be burnt up because of how much mass is getting like combined at the speed, and friction is just going to screw everything up and make it so a lot of the crust is burnt. So my theory is that these flying gargoyle things live in like underground cities and caves. Like, if you ever played Gears of War, the enemy, I never played Gears of War, but I know that the enemy comes from underground like caverns. That's my theory, is that these enemies are going to be coming from underground caverns, and we're gonna have some sort of DLC to do with going into the cavern and like mining some hive, I'm guessing, or something like that. I think that would be really cool if it was. I really want to explore this new planet. I also think it would be a cool thing. The doctor that was on the lab, he said that this place is only habitable for 5 to 6 hours. Maybe there's going to be some sort of system where you have to go inside like a lab, then go back out. Like, I don't know. Maybe something like that. Then again, it's 5 to 6 hours, so I doubt it. But it could be like it could be like one rundown, you go out there and then you're stuck, and next rundown you have to get back before you die of oxygen. I don't know. These are just my guesses. Yeah. I just want to say thank you for all the people that have watched this far, and to make sure to check out all the channels that help me with the lore down in the description, and also check out the GTFO Discord lore channel for more lore. You will have spoilers though, so just be careful when going in there. I also want to give a huge shout out to my friend Devin. His name is Traveler. He is up and coming streamer in the GTFO community. He helped me get all those clips of the events because we had a group of 4. Recommend go watching him. I'll be on his streams when we're doing GTFO, trying to get down to E whenever that comes out. But thank you all for watching, and have a good day. Bye.